Recently, a story from my childhood has stirred up again. It's in elementary school and it's about this boy which would always play football, which was the loud guy, which was really the boyish boy. This boyish boy asked a teacher which would always be smiling. You'd only see her smiling. The boy asked the teacher, "Why are you always smiling?" And the teacher broke out into this nervous little laughter, like, "What?" And looking back, I thought the boy was rude for saying this, but now I actually realize my favorite teacher back then was actually this unstable lady, which couldn't even control her emotions right, which always had to overplay something, which couldn't get the truth out, right? So, this video is about kind of talking about the environment which we grow up in and in which we are forced in, and how that fucks with our minds, quite frankly. Because when I think back to my school years, I've become, I was the girl. I was a girl as well. Like, I did the things the girls did. I did nothing at all, I maybe read a bit, but I did not have this boyish thing about me. From time to time, but only rarely, I went across the school court onto the football place and then challenged some guy, some other little kid to run towards me because I wanted to show him this nice little block. And then I threw him onto the ground and I felt like, yeah. But but this really only happened rarely. And I was bullied in these years. I did not know how to deal with it. I think the teachers did quite a bad job of dealing up with it. There was actually a teacher bullying me as well, when I think back to it. It was this music teacher which would confront me in front of the whole class that I supposedly had insulted the guy with Down syndrome or something. And suddenly I was there in this class crying. Okay, nice. So I've got another trauma through that, which I had to work up probably 2 years to raise my hand again and actually feel like the person, the teacher in charge, isn't out for me. So you can see why there's a lot of trauma which can evolve from all of these confrontations, from all these almost unstable witches. Of course, there's only some teachers like that, but even those teachers, they can they can imprint you in a really bad way, right? If you think back to your teachers in elementary school, for example, have they always been this nice lady which looked out for you? Or have they just been there to get their money? Have they just been there to actually do something, and teaching is okay, it's with children, right? I kind of feel like back then I wasn't even allowed to be the boy. I had only this little leg space under my table. I had this little table which I couldn't even make this on. Like nowadays I feel that I need two whole school tables to fill my needs with my space, because I feel like I need that much space, because otherwise it's just uncomfortable. But there's not that much space, right? So we keep our little legs under the table, look at the teacher, have this little space, do a nice little work for the teachers, which doesn't even matter, which we maybe can't even do, but the teachers still try to. They should guide us, right? But then why do we have these meaningless work plans which we don't even care about, which doesn't even develop us in our emotions? Because back then I really would have needed some emotional schooling. I fucking almost killed a little boy because I choked him out. This was my bully. I had him on the wall with my front elbow. But last seconds I actually let go of him. This boy was coming off of the wall and holding like his neck and coughing the whole time. We had class after still. We get into the room. We had this little computer room. We go in there crying, both of us. And then there's also this one friend which was standing beside us while we fought. He said, "Stop, guys, stop." Now all of us were going into the computer room crying. I admitted to the teacher that we just had a fight. She fucking stands up like this, screams, "You fucking idiots." She really screamed that. And then we got this lecture outside for 20 minutes. I don't know if I had any consequences. My mind doesn't work. My memory isn't that well, but still, we'd expect some more compassion from the people that should guide us through our childhood. I just think of the work right now that I would have to do to uncover all of these childhood scars, these traumas that I don't even know about, that, but that give me these beliefs in my head that I can't do this and that I'm getting anxious because this and that. After the time in elementary school, this might have been a trigger. I spent all of my days in the room. So think of that. The teachers in your school could have the impact on your life for the next 7 years. I spent 7 years in my room because I was afraid going out, because I felt like everybody was out for me, because the people I've trusted, the teachers that were my favorite teachers, they've gotten onto me like that. They've broken out and broken down in front of me like that. Screaming. I can't imagine how, even when the people get older, it would be even worse, right? Because then there's these. Just today, there was this boy who got lectured in front of the whole class because he did a stupid joke, and then he has this history of being kind of the jerk in class. Now he goes up to the teacher, and the teacher also swears at him. He's 17 years old. And still, this maybe 70-year-old lady, still, or 60-year-old, tries to push him down. Because most likely, what would the reason for an adult human, what would be the reason for a 60-year-old woman to scream at a 16-year-old boy, 17-year-old boy, 4-year-old boy? There is none, but I think these teachers actually give us their trauma in a way, right? If we think of it, the teachers are unhappy with their lives because otherwise they wouldn't try to act out on this. I have this amazing teacher in maths, which is really giving us the compassion we need. She's never blaming us for not doing our homework. She's actually trying to understand why we didn't do it and what we have problems with. We're one of the worst classes in math. Now, if we look at the 180 with the 60-year-old woman that blames the children for not doing the homework, well, you could argue these are the traditional ways to raise children, to raise the teens. But have we not grown out of this? Have we really? Do we really have to give the trauma to the younger generation even more? So that we feel good for this little release, but actually, well, we maybe teach them Spanish, alright. But now, what will really happen to those children who can't even deal with their emotions now? Because we've never gotten it teached, right? And then with our mother, which is working this part-time job, which is maybe cooking for us in the evening, or if we're lucky, she's even there during midday when we get home. And then with our father, which is gone almost all the time, which we don't even see at the weekends really, then what is left for us? These teachers basically raise us, but then there's these switches that even if we have a few of in our lives, even for only one semester, then they could still mess with our head that much, give us some trauma that we didn't need, that we didn't deserve. So, I don't actually know what a fix for all of that could be, but maybe it helps you to know that it's not only you which goes through the through the system of, okay, you have to do this and that now, but I'm actually gonna scream at you so you can do it faster and faster and that faster, and now you have the stress, you wake up with night sweats. Or we make you this girl which listens to everything you say. We make you submissive. And oh, people will rage at submissive girls. I've missed out on this boy childhood. To the racing, the other children, from the nice competition. Looking back, I did not have all of these things. I was forced to eat some radish and brush my teeth, but nobody told me how I would actually deal with my emotions. For example, getting fucking self-destructive, sitting in my room the whole day for 7 years. Could you imagine? Could you imagine how many students might even get suicidal through that? So please don't believe what these old hacks have to say, because their opinion doesn't matter. And now, if you're this being, if you're this young guy which is actually trying to do his best and still has this woman, of course you have your problems, of course you have your errors in yourself, but that can't stop you from rising into the future. Because the teachers will try to influence you, or everybody will influence you, because you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Now imagine you see the teacher every day. You might see 2 friends regularly, but then you see the teachers every day and they shape your mind. Well, this might be an opinion that's pretty out there, but for those who have experienced this childhood, I believe they will relate to the stories. So if you look back onto your childhood and see that actually, oh yeah, this teacher has broken me, do some trauma work, which means that try to look for some scars that the teachers or the education system might have left on you. If you had to suppress yourself for years and years and years, or if you actually got through there and kind of pushed the system away, but got punished through that, which of course then you will be broken through that as well. My respects to you if you could still be the boy in your childhood years. I wish I could have been. I wasn't. Then, good luck. Until then, stay safe and see you soon.